Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear students. How are you all? Today we will discuss about formation of covalent bond, and we know that when non-metals and non-metals react with each other, they will share and form a chemical bond by mutual sharing of electron from their valence shells. And we know that the elements of groups 13 to 17 belongs to non-metals, and they have incomplete shells, valence shells, and they complete their octet by sharing of electron between them. And the definition of covalent bond is here. The type of bond which is formed due to mutual sharing of electrons is called a covalent bond. First heading. And second is the formation of a covalent bond. The energy changes during the covalent bond formation of a considerable value. Listen girls, I have already discussed that when two atoms approach each other in a covalent bond formation, there are two forces of attraction. Green line representing repulsive forces, and the other line, purple line, is representing attractive forces. So when two atoms come into contact with each other for the bond formation, there will be two forces of attraction and repulsion. And the repulsive forces occur between the nucleus of one atom and the nucleus of another atom, because both have same charges, positive, and there are repulsive forces exist between the valence electrons of both atoms, but attractive forces exist between the nucleus and one nucleus and with the valence electrons of the other electrons and the other. For example, atom A, nucleus of atom A will attract the valence electrons of atom B. Similarly, nucleus of atom B will attract the valence electrons of atom A. So when these repulsive forces and attractive forces act simultaneously at a time, and if the repulsive forces becomes dominant and dominate, the bond formation will not occur, and the energy of the system increases because they remain unstable. And if the attractive forces between the nucleus of one atom and the valence electrons of other atom become dominant, then the bond formation will occur. For example, attractive force occurs between the protons of one atom and the electrons of the other atom. You can see here that it is the atom of hydrogen, and here we discuss the formation of AH2 molecule. So there are two hydrogen atom, and when these hydrogen atom attract by each other and form a bond by sharing of electron, they will come into contact with each other. Then there will be two forces of attraction and repulsion, and because force of attraction will dominate, that's why it will form H2 molecule. Electrons attracted by each other's protons. We know that nucleus contain proton, so one nucleus of one atom A will attract the electrons of the other atom, and if these attraction will dominate, then the bond formation will occur. For example, when a single pair of electrons is shared, such as in the hydrogen molecule, a single covalent bond is formed. Because both hydrogen atoms have one electron in their outer shell, that's why they will share these electrons and complete their duplet and form AH2 molecule. That's why a single bond formation occur. In the single bond, there will be involved two electrons, which is called bond pair and shared pair electrons. And similarly, next short example. And what are the bond pairs? Here is the short question and the example. And formation of covalent bond heading is till here between them. And next the example is starting from the second last line. The formation of hydrogen, chlorine, nitrogen and oxygen gases are few examples of this type of bonding. And next, types of covalent bonds. And as described above, you have you should cut these as described above, cut these words, and long question 4 of the exercise will start from here. The covalent bond, it is the long question 4 of exercise, and it is starting from here. Types of covalent bonds is the main heading. And next, the covalent bond is formed by mutual sharing of electron between the two atoms. And the short question, you can also add short question here. What are bond pairs? The electron that pair up to form a chemical bond are called bond pair electrons. And depending upon the number of bond pairs, covalent bond is classified into following 3 types. So next we move first type, single covalent bond, and here is 3 headings. Every type of bond, single, double and triple bond, consist of 3 headings. First heading, definition. Second will be the representation, and third, example. And the first heading is the definition. When one electron is contributed by each bonded atom, one bond pair is formed and it forms a single covalent bond. And then the second heading is representation, which is starting from here. While drawing the structure of such molecules, the single bond pair is indicated by a line between these two atoms. And after that, third heading is example. A few examples of molecules with single covalent bonds are hydrogen, chlorine, hydrochloric acid and methane. And you can see here hydrogen contain one and the pink dot and cross. Is dot and cross. What are dot and cross? Because dot and cross, this is the diagrams and structures which represent the number of electrons in the outer shell of any atom, and to distinguish the number of the electrons of one atom from the other atom, we use dots. We represent electron of one atom by dot and electron of other atom by cross. So when they will share one electron, there will be formation of one bond pair. They are forming one bond pair, and the single covalent bond is represented by single line. And you can also hear that chlorine and chlorine, both chlorine require one electron to complete their octet. That's why they will share one bond pair of electrons and it will form Cl2 molecule. Similarly with the HCl molecule, hydrogen and chlorine in HCl molecule also require hydrogen require one electron to complete its duplet, and chlorine one electron to complete its octet. That's why they will mutually share electrons with each other and complete each other duplet and octet and form a single covalent bond by sharing one bond pair of electrons. Bond pair, the electrons which are participating in a bond formation in the form of pair is called bond pairs. Next will be similarly the example of methane, and it is also here it is a structure of hydrogen chloride, and you can see here hydrogen and chlorine will share and form one pair of shared electrons and form single covalent bond. And next example of methane, you can see here that carbon belongs to fourth group. It has 4 electrons which are represented by cross, and it require 4 electrons to complete its octet. That's why these 4 electrons will be provided by 4 hydrogen atom, and there will be formation of 4 bond pairs, and it will be called CH4. They will form CH4 molecule and methane. And here you can see that and next I will explain the difference between single bond and double bond, and then I will explain the formation of CH4 molecule. Third, the double covalent bond. When each bonded atom contributes 2 electrons, 2 bond pairs are shared and a double covalent bond is formed. Listen girls, what is the main difference between single and double covalent bond is that in single covalent bond both atoms share one electron, and in the double covalent bond both atoms will share two electrons. It means if both electron, if not different electron, I am talking about two atoms. When two atoms share two electrons, they will form two bond pairs, and that's why it will call double covalent bond, and it will be represented by double line. So first heading is the definition, same headings, representation. These bond pairs are indicated as double line between those atoms in the structure of such molecules. The molecules like oxygen and ethane show such type of covalent bonds, and you can see here that oxygen belongs to 6 group. It has 6 electrons in its outer shell, and it requires 2 electrons to complete its octet. That's why both oxygen atoms will share their two electrons, and they will form two bond pair, and that's why they form double covalent bond. Similarly with the methane, you can see here that methane carbon, both carbons have 4 electrons. Dear students, we are talking about the structure of ethane molecule, and first we will know about the main concept behind the double covalent bond formation. And you can see here it is the two atom, any atom A and B, and when their valence electrons will share two electrons, and a double covalent bond will be formed by the mutual sharing of two electrons from each atom, and this is called the double covalent bond. And it doesn't mean one atom and contribute. For example, in CH4, here it is 4 bond, but these are our bonds are single covalent bond, because in these atoms each atom contributing only one electron. But in these atoms, in the double covalent bond, the condition is that two electrons will be shared by same atoms. When the same atom A and B will share two electrons, they will form two bond pair of electrons, and it will be called double covalent bond, and it will represent by double line. Same with the triple covalent bond. When each atom will share three electrons, they will form 3 bond pair, and it will be called triple covalent bond, and we will represent it by triple lines. So here is the example of oxygen. You can see here that when oxygen and oxygen combine with each other, and both form, you can see here two bond pairs are forming. One oxygen atom representing with the blue dots and the other with red cross. So when their outer shell combine with each other, mutually they are sharing two electrons. That's why the two bond pair will form. Similarly with the carbon dioxide molecule, and you have idea, you have also learned in class 7. And here it is the ethene molecule. You can see here it is two carbon atoms which have 4 electrons in their outer shell. So carbon wants to complete its octet by sharing of electron and with the hydrogen atom, but because when carbon share two electrons, both carbon share two electrons with the hydrogen, the total number of electrons will be 6. So they require 2 electrons more to complete their octet. That's why they will share 2 electrons with each other. Carbon and carbon will share 2 electrons, and that's why in this way carbon will complete its octet by taking 2 electrons from hydrogen, and by sharing 2 bonds with hydrogen, electrons with hydrogen, and by sharing two electrons with another carbon atom, with adjacent carbon atom. So here you can see, because carbon and carbon sharing two electrons, two bond pair will formed, and we will represent it with double lines, and it is called double covalent bond. And similarly, next, triple covalent bond. First heading is the definition. When each bonded atom contributes, bonded atom mean which are taking taking part in chemical reaction and bond formation. When each bonded atom contributes 3 electrons, 3 bond pairs are formed. And then representation. This type is triple covalent bond. The 3 small lines are used to indicate these 3 pairs of electrons between those atoms in the molecule of such compound. Then third heading is example, and here is the example of nitrogen and ethane molecule, CH2H2. And here we will explain the triple covalent bond in ethyne molecule. You can see here that we know that both carbon have 4 electrons in their outer shell, and they want to complete that octet by sharing of electron. In the what is the difference between ethene and ethyne molecule? Actually, in ethene molecule, two electrons are shared by each carbon atom with each other, but in this ethyne molecule they are sharing 3 electrons with each other and one electron with hydrogen. And in this way both carbons are completing their octet, and hydrogen will complete their duplet, and they all share electrons with each other to form a compound which is called molecule ethine C2H2. So because both carbon atoms are sharing three electrons, that's why they will form triple covalent bond, and it will be represented by triple lines between them. And here is also the example of N2 molecule. We know that nitrogen belongs to 5th group. It has 5 electrons in its outer shell, and it requires only 3 electrons to complete its octet. That's why both nitrogen atoms will react with each other, will contribute 3 electrons, and they will form 3 bond pair of electrons, and it will be represented by 3 lines, and this is called a triple covalent bond. And this is a long question of 4. And in our next lecture we will discuss about long question 5, coordinate covalent bond or dative covalent bond. Till then, Allah Hafiz, have a good day.